Susan Ley and the Glass Cliff. Does Australian politics still have a problem with women? 3 hours ago, Tiffany Turnbull, Sydney, share, save, Getty Images. Susan Ley, wearing a cream suit, surrounded by a press pack in the Parliament courtyard. Getty Images. Susan Ley was ousted as Liberal leader after only 9 months. When Susan Ley made history as the first woman to take the reins of Australia's Liberal Party, she insisted this was a pivotal moment for the party, or what was left of it anyway. She had broken through the glass ceiling, an invisible, patriarchal barrier which keeps women from positions of power. But to many, Ley's glass ceiling looked an awful lot like a glass cliff, and it felt like it was only a matter of time before she lost her grip and slipped off it. The glass cliff describes a phenomenon where women and other minorities are promoted to leadership roles during times of crisis, setting them up for a high risk of failure. In essence, it says that when women are finally allowed to ascend to the top, it's frequently so they can take the fall. Elected as leader after the most resounding election defeat in the history of the modern Liberal Party and amid internal party chaos, Ley didn't even survive a year. On Friday she was pushed out by Angus Taylor, who argued she didn't have what it takes to turn the opposition's fortunes around. He won a leadership ballot 34-17, with Senator Jane Hame elected as his deputy. Ley's backers claim she was never given the chance to succeed, with some saying gender played a role. Her opponents say her demise has nothing to do with that and everything to do with performance. The messy saga has reignited conversations in Australia about its progress towards making its politics look more like its population. Whoever took over as Liberal leader after the Labor landslide in May last year was always going to have a tough job. They had to unify the polarized factions of the party and manage an increasingly toxic relationship with their coalition partner of 8 decades, the National Party, a small but vocal and often mutinous cohort of rural MPs. They had to overhaul a policy platform which was comprehensively rejected by voters. And they had to do this while balancing the demands of the more conservative sects of the coalition with the more progressive desires of voters in the urban areas where they were ravaged at the polls. Then they also had to repair the Liberals' reputation with women, who have deserted them en masse after a string of allegations of misogyny leveled during the coalition's previous term of government, which ended in 2022. There was just crisis on every front. It's classic glass cliff, says Michelle Ryan, director of the Global Institute for Women's Leadership and one of the researchers who coined the term. From her very first press conference as leader, Ley was aware of what this looked like. She and her supporters insisted she had been selected exactly for this moment, because she was the right person to lead the coalition through it. She is a moderate who can appeal to city slickers, yes, but one from a Bush electorate who can speak national. She's been in parliament for 22 years and was a cabinet minister for 5. With an unusual but impressive resume that includes time as a pilot and a sheep muster, Ley says she has spent her entire life breaking down barriers, challenging assumptions and making room for herself in places women weren't always welcome. Some critics say the idea of a glass cliff itself is offensive, that it diminishes women's achievements and assumes they can't successfully lead out of a crisis, when in fact many in the community feel women fare better in them. As far as political analysis goes, it is just wrong, Ley wrote in an op-ed for the Women's Agenda shortly after she took over. There is no doubt that all too often women are left to clean up the mess. But when the most successful political party in our nation's history picks a leader, it doesn't do so based on chromosomes. I earned my shot. Few are saying she didn't. But the Liberal Party famously passed over Julie Bishop in 2018, an electorally popular and long-serving minister who had been the party deputy for 11 years. Political observers say there was a sense Ley was only keeping the seat warm for Taylor, whose first leadership bid failed by a slim margin after a controversial choice in running mate. The glass cliff phenomenon doesn't paint the true picture of Ley's tenure though, says Nikki Seva, a veteran political commentator and former Liberal Party advisor. Sometimes I get really impatient with the argument that all this was happening because she's a woman. She hasn't been given a fair go because she's a woman, she tells the BBC. Maybe a tiny bit, but that was not the real reason. Susan lay as the architect of her own fortunes. She promised not to make unilateral calls as leader, which seemingly opened the door to relentless pressure, public and private, from her peers. She promised to listen to the electorate on climate, but facing opposition from the conservative members of the coalition, rolled back her party's promise to reach net zero by 2050. And though she played a leading role in pushing the government to hold a royal commission into anti-Semitism in the wake of the Bondi attack, which she says she is proud of, critics accused her of politicizing the tragedy. She also oversaw two short-lived but ugly breakups between the Liberals and Nationals.